America has invested $22 trillion over the last 60 years to help the most vulnerable people in our society overcome things like poverty, addiction, and homelessness. But all of the evidence and studies show it's not working.
After decades of trying, maybe it's not the problem that's intractable, it's that our approach simply never was going to allow us to solve this problem.
This is Dr. Todd Rose, a former Harvard professor who specializes in the science of individuality. He believes the reason nonprofits aren't seeing results is because they're focused on the wrong things.
The entire nonprofit ecosystem, from nonprofit providers to donors, has become obsessed with defining their success based on measuring output and services they determine are important. Our biggest blind spot in the nonprofit space is actually trusting that customers we're serving understand their lives and life circumstances better than we do.
Todd is advocating alongside Stand Together Foundation for the social sector to make a huge shift to a revolutionary new approach, one that puts emphasis on using customer feedback in order to create better programs, services, and outcomes. And right now it's being tested in one of the largest and most demanding environments, the United Way of Salt Lake City's 211, part of a nationwide service that refers millions of customers to nonprofits annually.
When we saw the data from our first pilot, I think everyone on our team was shocked. About 75% of the time, people do not get the help that they're seeking. That's a huge problem.
This is Stand Together Presents. Stories, ideas, and advice from changemakers tackling our biggest challenges.
One of the biggest headaches in the social sector is that it's difficult to measure what's actually working for the people they serve. According to a nationwide survey of over 3,000 nonprofits, only 2% of nonprofits showed evidence of positive impact whatsoever.
The problem when you measure the wrong thing is nonprofits end up showing metrics because they think they have to keep the lights on. The annual report of thousands of nonprofits lists their measured impact. We distributed thousands of dollars in food or goods. We provided thousands of people with shelter or blankets. These aren't bad things at all. But what does all this spending have in common? It's directed towards activities that will obtain the desired outcomes nonprofits and their donors believe are important.
So what should they be measuring instead? Todd says it's really simple. Nonprofits should measure their effectiveness based on what their customers' feedback reports. But why is that?
My background is in the science of individuality, where we have learned whether we're talking about cells or cancer or human beings and their learning and development, there's literally no such thing as an average person, period. In the social sector, it's the exact same. There's no such thing as an average person in need. And so when we come in with an average-based solution, it is doomed to fail because it ignores human individuality and the distinctiveness of communities.
But how does that change how nonprofits measure success?
Look, in life, you measure what you think matters. Think about any for-profit space. If you're a startup, you literally obsess about your customer to understand their needs, their aspirations, and how your solutions fit into that. Customer-first measurement is really simple, and I think most people are just surprised, like, wait, this isn't how it's already done. The only thing that's innovative about this is that we've not done it in the social sector before at scale. Start by trying to understand the person in need as an actual customer. For example, routinely deploying surveys directly to the people being served and asking them questions like, on a scale of 0 to 10, how have these services led to a transformation of their lives? What these nonprofits will learn is crucial. When you listen to your customer, really listen, you can shape your offerings to deliver the right solutions to the right people in the right way.
One of the largest adopters of customer-first measurement is the United Way of Salt Lake City's 211. Every year, 211 call centers across the U.S. direct up to 40 million requests for service to local nonprofits that can assist them, making it the largest social sector referral source in America.
Hi, this is Utah 211. How can I help you? Yes, we're being evicted from our home. I need a safe place for my family to sleep tonight. Let me take a look through our database and see what we can find.
But there was a blind spot. While 211 was measuring how many customers they were serving, they didn't know if their customers were receiving the support they needed from the nonprofits they were referred to.
kind of had a void. We weren't really understanding what is the experience of people after they leave that interaction with a specialist.
What we've learned from our pilot efforts around this is that the system is so fragmented that it's incredibly hard for people to navigate.
To measure their customer satisfaction, Stand Together Foundation supported the United Way by building a technology platform that allows 211 to automatically follow up with customers over text. They gathered data that let them know which nonprofit referrals were effective and which services were unable to assist. Today, with the data collected from Customer First Measurement System, 211 can confidently refer customers to nonprofits that are actively ready to assist, and also rank which nonprofits their customers say are most beneficial to improving their long-term outcomes.
We don't know best. If we start making decisions without including that voice, we're going to get it wrong.
Just by following up with them, asking the question, we more than double the percentage of times that people get the help they're seeking. The partnership with Stand Together gives me confidence to continue on the path we're on of following up with every single person. Having the data is power.
This is being implemented in organizations of all sizes. Right now, there are over 300 nonprofits across the country beginning to use this methodology. It has the potential to shift the social sector towards empowering individuals and expecting better results.
I think one of the most important aspects of customer first measurement is how it leaves people in need feeling about themselves. Dignity matters. And nothing says I respect you like I am actually listening to you the second we realize these people in need are customers, and they deserve the same respect, the same attention, and the same obsession to solving the problems that we do in the for-profit space. And when that happens, we will start measuring the right things, and when we are measuring the right things, we now have a chance to actually solve the problems that eluded us for decades.
Stand Together partners with changemakers tackling our biggest challenges. To see more stories, follow our channels. And to learn more about how you can partner with us, go to standtogether.org.